نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق المجاهدة حتى أتاه اليقين ونصلي عليه في الأولين وفي الآخرين وفي الملأ الأعلى يا رب العالمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Dear brothers and sisters, we begin with an abundant praise as always. Praise is a lifestyle. Gratitude that we have been given life, that we have been given consciousness, that our bodies and our surroundings are blessed with countless favors that we are never to take for granted. It is the way of a believer to wake up in the morning with the praise and the gratitude and to carry that attitude to work, to school, and to live our lives in the reflection that we have been blessed by the source of all creation, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's a recognition that we have to carry with us everywhere we go. Today I want to talk about a verse that basically instills in us a certain attitude towards very special parts of our identity as Muslims. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ذَلِكَ وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. This is the verse. That is the reality of a true believer. That whoever reveres and exalts the signs of God, the signs of spirituality, the signs for connecting to the reality that will eventually meet us all after our death. Whoever reveres those things and exalts those things, those people have true piety and God consciousness in their hearts. And so we're coming upon the month in which it says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So it says, O you who believe, fasting is prescribed upon you as it was prescribed upon previous nations for the simple purpose that you could become spiritually disciplined, that you could become God conscious, to have piety in your hearts. That word we call taqwa in Arabic. And so as Muslims there are certain signposts, certain representative realities of spirituality, and we should embrace those and exalt those and hold those in a special reverence in our lives. So there are two that I want to talk about today. Obviously one is the month of Ramadan and how do we approach it. And inshallah next week we'll go into detail on that. So right now I want to talk about the reality of the mosque, the Islamic center. Many kids see the Islamic center as a cultural center where they go play. Their parents who come from these various countries, they come here and they drop them off and they play. And that's their experience. That's their perception. It's a playground. They see it like that. And that is something that we have to review in ourselves and think to ourselves, are we building a generation? You see, when you look at the difference between Mecca and Medina and you look at the status of the Muhajirin versus the Ansar, when Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, after the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had passed, and one of the Ansar, the great pious companions from Medina, he said, I will be a good Khalifa. He said, لا, منا الأمراء ومنكم الوزراء. From the Muhajirin will be the leaders. Why? Because they lived in a society for 13 years, or depending on when they became Muslim, Abu Bakr was 13 years, in which the society is very pressuring them. There's a very strong pressure of immorality, of following one's desires, of worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And so, believe it or not, our situation is a lot better here because we do have some scriptural values. We have organization, human rights, we have some ideas that are Islamic here. But there is many ideas and attitudes in our culture here in America that is not Islamic. And it is a constant surrounding that we have as Muslims. So the question is, how do we deal with that? I will tell you how you deal with that. As we started our sermon, you make your life a focus. When you wake up, the reason why you woke up always for the first time in the morning is because you're going to pray Salat al-Fajr. Not because it's time for work if it comes after Fajr, right? That means that you have now decided that work is more important than your Creator, which your body is functioning, who provided you with the opportunity to go to that place and made the circumstances for you so you could have that rizq, so that you could have that sustenance and make that money, right? So that's where things got completely out of hand from the beginning. So there has to be spiritual focus at home. But you can't do it by yourself. In Mecca, there was a place called Dar al-Arqam. And without Dar al-Arqam, I'm not sure that Islam would have survived. I'm dead serious. The religion of, we would not be sitting here today if there was no Dar al-Arqam. That was the house of a man named Arqam who lived on the outskirts of Mecca. And the Prophet ﷺ, once there started to become a congregation of believers after a couple of years, he questioned him. He said, "Can you please do me a huge favor? We need a place to grow, to build ourselves." And Dar al-Arqam, his house, had women, men, and children in it. And they used to grow. They used to learn from the Prophet ﷺ. They used to learn from the meanings of the Quran, from the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. They used to discuss their regular struggles that they're facing in their families and their businesses. And they used to go every day. Here's the first big difference between how we approach our mosque and how they approach Dar al-Arqam. They yearned to be there every day. Somebody might say, well, those are Sahaba, radiyallahu anhum. Those were human beings. They were human beings, just like me and you. They were people who were not prophets. They were not ma'soom. They were not preserved from sin or evil. They were human beings who chose, with their faith, that even though I have a wife and kids and responsibilities and a business and all of those things, spirituality is my focus. And so I'm going to go to Dar al-Arqam every day to learn something new from the Quran, to build my family's identity, to deal with the struggles that I'm facing, to bring solutions to our reality. So that's one big difference. Now when they went to Medina, the mosque, the Masjid al-Nabawi, it was that place. It was not the case for some of our more, mashallah, closer living or religious brothers. It was not the attitude of the companions to quickly race to the mosque, pray the salah, and then jump up, pray the sunnah, and leave. That was not their attitude. Actually, they would spend whatever free time they had at the mosque that they could, without neglecting their family's rights and responsibilities. And they would sit and have genuine discussions with people. And they were from different tribes, but they did not separate themselves on tribes because that was prohibited by the Prophet ﷺ. They didn't say, okay, we're from this tribe and we don't know about those guys, they come from, those are Ansar. Actually, the Prophet ﷺ forced them to live together. So there's another difference that we have, another disconnect we have from the prophetic model of building an institution of Islamic identity, right? So in the verse that we mentioned, how we approach, how we perceive this place is so crucial to the success of the reason why this place was built. So we have to see ourselves. Have I become secularized? Right? That is a movement worldwide that is being pressed with strong force in so many ways, shapes, and fashions that if you're not aware of it, it's just like, wallahi, when I was in Jahiliyyah. I thought, okay, I believe in God and stuff, but I didn't realize how messed up I was until I started to become more adamant about learning Quran, being at the mosque, being with people who are spiritually serious, right? Then I started to see how messed up my thinking process was, right? And many Muslims figure that. People who were born into a Muslim family, they at some point maybe they come to embrace Islam. And they start to see the beauty of it. They don't take it for granted. Right? The mosque is where that happens. It will not happen just at home. At home is important. We have to have Islam in the home. But we need a community. We need to connect to other homes and build a strong base, foundation. And that's what we're going to do here. So how do we treat this mosque? Similarly, the Prophet ﷺ, he used to tell people, when you come to the mosque, عَلَيْكُمْ بِالْوَقَارِ وَالسَّكِينَةِ. When you come to the mosque, peaceful, relaxed, calm. We should not be having loud discussions and things like that. Our kids should not be running wild and running and screaming and all of that. It should not be like that here. It's a very sacred institution. We should sit down with our kids and make sure they understand where they're coming. This is the house of Allah. This is just like the Kaaba or any other place. The difference is the special nature of the Kaaba. It was built by Abraham and his son Ishmael. We built this one and we're just, simple folk. Those were prophets. That's what makes that special than this. That one is not any more the house of God than this outside of that. It's just who built it. Is the sharaf and the barakah. We should see it like that. And we should see the whole place as a sanctity, a place of spiritual growth and development. So we should not, quote unquote, let loose our kids when we come here. This should be no longer. We're not going to do that anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to establish a system, starting tonight, for the well-being and safety and the spiritual growth and development of future generations of Muslims in Tulsa. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Change, when it's suggested, there's always pushback. People will find a reason to perpetuate the status quo. Shaitan, he's very influential on that, because when the status quo, when we see there's not a lot of growth and development, and there's not a lot of owning a special place in the heart in the mosque for children, that means that as those children get older, see, some people would put it like this. People who came from Muslim countries, you were surrounded by a Muslim country. Your family everywhere, mosques everywhere. So, there's a little bit of pressure to be Muslim and to understand Muslim in general. The pressure here is to be non-Muslim outside. So if the one place they come to, they don't see it as a very special, sacred, holy place that we have to have a special reverence and attitude towards when we come here, then we failed big time. So this is what we're going to do. So from now on, we're going to institute a policy of spiritual growth and development for our kids, so that they will be under control, and that they will see order, and they will learn some things about spirituality, and they will have genuine relationships with other kids. Not just wild playing and all of that. Not just staring at the little game they're playing, which you see them playing. I'm not saying these things are haram. I'm not. I'll go play a video game with you at your house. But when we come here, there needs to be a special attitude. This is a special place. It's not like any other place. When you go to work, when you go to the school, when you go to the grocery store, do you just let your kids run? You do not, because you respect those institutions and the order that requires from people who are civilized when they go there. Right? We will not do that at the mosque anymore. Because why? This is a special, holy place that has to be revered. So we've made this consultation with so many people, with the board, with community members, and alhamdulillah, we've engaged the volunteers. And we have a huge blessing that came. Many people, whenever I suggested an idea, this is the shaitan. So some of these people, they come here regularly. It will never happen, Imam. This is a ridiculous idea. No one's going to do that. These people are a disaster. Particularly if you're coming here praying every day and you think like that. This is not the way of the Prophet ﷺ. The companions were blown away when the Ahzab, when there was the ditch. They're building the ditch. Imminent danger. There is 10,000 army of polytheists, pagans, and Jews mixed up, and they're coming to take over Medina. The Prophet said, we're going to be given Persia. We're going to be given Rome. The Yemen Empire. It will come to a Muslim land. Everybody's looking at him going, do you realize we're about to be destroyed here? The Prophet ﷺ كان يعجبه يحب الفأل. Optimism, positive energy breeds positive energy. So there will be a registration program starting tonight. We have our Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. He became the caliph. We're talking about how a real Islamic state is built. the way we should build our homes and our communities and the Muslim world. We pray one day they will have righteous, good leaders, how they would build their society. We're going to be learning that tonight at Maghrib. So if you come with your kids, which alhamdulillah you should, bring your kids. This place should have kids in it regularly. And they should leave here saying, mashallah, I felt very comfortable there. I felt like I learned something. I felt like that's a very special place, right? So there'll be a registration table, right? For generally Friday, Saturday, whenever there's a program, we're going to have this. So you come and you register your child at the table, and then a monitor will take the child. We have different age groups. We have the 2 to 4 in the child care room. Then we have 5 to 7, 8 to 10, and 11 and 12. These are 3 separate groups with 3 separate youth mentors. Some of our young men and women in the community that have learned a lot of the peace graduates, they're giving back to the community. They want to help mentor other kids. They know what they're going through. They know how they think. They understand where they're coming from. And there's going to be fun. There's going to be games. There's going to be icebreakers. There's going to be real ta'aruf, getting to know each other genuinely. Not just playing and wild. And there'll be someone there to nudge them in the right direction with love and mercy and compassion. And they will learn some things. They will read some of the tafsir of the Quran, read some hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, learn some of the wisdoms behind prayer and fasting and why we do these things and what's the special gain that we get from it. This will be happening. And then in Ramadan, during Taraweeh, we're going to have a program. And alhamdulillah, right now we are 75% the way there to having a full, complete program with 16 mentors every single night, taking care of 160 kids in the different aspects. So during Taraweeh in Ramadan, we're going to start with the younger kids, 5 to 12 years old. They're going to be outside getting some playing and so forth, while there might be still some light out there. Okay? Alhamdulillah, we don't have to worry because Allah blessed us with big, nice spotlights, sports lights out there. So everybody is under control. Everybody gets a band. You'll need to register your kids today, inshallah, because we only have the capacity to take care of 160. Other than that, kids will have to be next to their parent, either in the prayer or somewhere else, right next to the parent. If one of our monitors who are helping to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's in the right place and that there's order and there's sanctity to the mosque, if they see a stray kid, they say, where's your parents? And they say, well, I don't know. Then you say, can you please come with me? I'm going to go to the registration desk. And then we'll find the parent. And they'll go back to the parent or they will be registered in the youth program. And this is for the sanctity of the mosque. And this is for the growth and development of the kids, seeing the mosque as a organized institution for peace, comfort, tranquility, growth, and development. That's what it's here for. That's what the mosque is. If there is playing, it's under mentorship. People making sure kids aren't using foul language, bullying each other, that they really have Islamic character, they see each other as brothers and sisters in Islam. We're going to make sure all of these things are there. And the Prophet ﷺ, he advises, كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ فَمَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Every single one of us is a shepherd, and we have a flock. So whether we're father or mother or teacher or principal or imam or board member or youth counselor, whatever it may be, we have a role to play. And we're on the Day of Judgment, we're going to be answering, how did we take care of this responsibility? Those of us that built and came to this mosque. If what happens is the people who, by their environment they were raised in overseas, came here, and then they get very old, and then those who were born here, they didn't feel an attachment to the mosque because society didn't make them feel like that's crucial. It wasn't culturally pushed upon them because everybody's just free to do whatever they want here, right? Over in the Muslim world, it's like, okay, this is part of who I am and my identity, my culture. Whereas here, you truly have to own Islam by your choice and make that decision because there's no social pressure towards being attached to that. And that's the Meccan reality. And in order to develop the Meccan reality, we have to have a Dar al-Arqam. See, there was nifaq in Medina. Why? Because there was a social pressure to be part of the group. And I'm pretty sure that's the case across the Muslim world today. There's some people don't really know much or don't really follow Islam and they're just going along because that's the way everybody else does. We don't have that luxury here. We don't. People have to feel that this is a special place that we want regular attendance, regular programs, regular growth and development, and a certain special reverence for this place. So inshallah ta'ala, we're going to be having the registration booth outside. Everybody should be وَالسَّابِقُونَ السَّابِقُونَ فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. Hasten, hurry to the goodness. سَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ. Hasten, سَابِقُوا, compete with each other in doing righteousness. So we want to make sure that our kids are having a program where they can grow and develop. That will have to be registered. So you'll register now. Then when it comes time to Ramadan, there will be a system, your name and who it is, what age group, and there will be a map every night, who is where. We have walkie-talkies, we have monitors with yellow vests to help. We're bringing structure. Structure. Everything in our religion is structure, right? MashaAllah. The language in which it was revealed, Arabic grammar, is so easy. It's just a very simple structure. English grammar is the most annoying thing. Exception to the rule. Exception to the rule. Over and over and over. Very hard to learn. It's not that structured. It's just kind of people get, now they have this new thing called linguistics. Well, we're just going to change this rule and that rule. You can go ahead and throw a prepositional phrase at the end now. No big deal. Sounds right. They're saying this now in colleges. We'll never be like that. Alhamdulillah. The salat. When is the salat? Exactly at this minute of the day we are praying. Right? So yeah, suhoor, we know exactly when that moment is at the end of suhoor, right? The fast breaking, that moment, we know. Zakat, after one exact year, according to these policies and this percentage, this is going to structure. See what I'm saying? Hajj, in the year, when you go in, and then all of the, you're like amazed that people sitting there drinking tea and stuff are able to get out. Alhamdulillah, there's structure. Who goes where and does what, when and how and why, and what order, right? That's our religion, Islam. It's time to revive that in our daily lives and in our mosques. The Prophet ﷺ, his mosque, it was a very special place that people went daily and they didn't just hurry in, barbum barbing, pray and go. That was not the attitude. It was pray, talk with a brother, mashallah, get to know, learn something new, ask the Prophet a question. This is how they were. Spend 20, 30 minutes here and there. I understand some people live far. Inshallah, we're building a mosque out in Broken Road. You should move there as we build that one. But at least outside of Ramadan, pick a couple of days in which you embrace that prophetic model. If you live far. If you live close, alhamdulillah, we see you. Let's inshallah build our relationships. So this is how inshallah we're going to approach Ramadan structure. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and to make the good change desirable and facilitated for us. كل قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam wa rasulillah. Please scoot in, inshallah. So we have a full program. Inshallah, we'll be having a weekend program dinner in the next couple of weeks. Inshallah, we'll be announcing it next Juma for a full Ramadan awareness. What's going to happen? What's our programs and all of these things. In general, after Fajr is going to be a 10-minute program about the life of Umar. The one we're doing on Friday nights is going to be after Fajr, inshallah. After Asr, there's going to be a deen intensive. Learning, if you know how to read the Arabic script and write it, but you're not very strong on the grammar, the morphology, the vocabulary, the meaning, the structure, the eloquence, I'll be doing an intensive program every other day in Ramadan, inshallah, so that the goal, when you finish now, when you're in the salat, at least half of everything that you're listening to, you have some spiritual connection to meaning. This is the goal. A deen intensive. A lot of the youth really don't understand Islam. A lot of them. From 12 to 20 to 25. A lot of our adults might need to establish a relationship with the foundations of the religion and the pillars. So we'll be having that every other day. So one day, Arabic language, next day, maybe somebody doesn't know how to read Arabic script. So that's fine. We have a deen intensive. You can learn something. Taraweeh, alhamdulillah, we're going to go into what was the greatness of the Islamic State. I want to emphasize that there is a movement that want to make us all think that there's something wrong with an Islamic State. Somebody's trying to brainwash us that way. Just because some crazy characters who have no scholarly knowledge or backing are doing some murder and pillaging and craziness, that does not demean, they can call themselves whatever they want. That does not represent it. We need to learn that Islam has an amazing history. It has an amazing representation. So I'll just conclude with this. Inshallah ta'ala, as you see, we're not completely filling the room because alhamdulillah, we have about 2.5 rows in the 12:30 Jumu'ah. But when Ramadan comes, the high probability is, because historically people that don't really come to Jumu'ah often will come inshallah, they will know about the 2 o'clock. So it's up to you to understand, there has been a movement made. For those of you that's your schedule and that's the way it works, that's fine. But there's a movement of people that said, oh, to pray at 12:30 is haram because therefore Jumu'ah is before Dhuhr and then it's invalid. And so that is a very rigid interpretation that is not the understanding of real scholars of Islamic law. It might be a cherry-picked, as the ISIS cherry-picked. فَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ وَجَدْتُمُوهُمْ. You see? It's like that. And that's our ayah, and we're following it. You see? Anybody who disagrees with us, instead of mushrikeen after 23 years of problems and all this, the context taken out. So I'll just let you know, for those of you that could come to the 12:30, we don't, as the Prophet ﷺ, لَا يُؤْمِنُ عَبْدٌ حَتَّى يَأْمَنَ جَارُهُ بَوَائِقَهُ. You're not a real believer until your neighbor is safe from your harm. So we don't want to, because Ramadan comes in, to have a big parking issue. The reason why we established at 12:30 to facilitate many people's schedules, it came to us. Alhamdulillah, I was not allowed to go to Jummah, now I have this 12:30, I'm allowed to go to Jummah. Some people have a Muslim business, there's all Muslims there. Some can go at 12:30, some can to keep the business open. Alhamdulillah. Some people, I have a type of work schedule that some days I get schedules and I cannot change it. So that facilitated for those people. What is our basis? عن جابر بن عبد الله كنا نصلي مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم نرجع فنريح نواضحنا قال حسن فقلت لجعفر في أي ساعة تلك قال حين زوال الشمس. صحيح Muslim. So in Sahih al-Muslim we have a hadith, and it's a hadith that nobody has ever disagreed about in its authenticity because it's Sahih Muslim number 858. Jabir ibn Abdullah says we used to pray the Jumu'ah with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we would then go and we would take our camels to rest and get some water for the rest of the day. And then he asked Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, what time was that? And he says that was when the sun passed the zawal, after Dhuhr started, right? Meaning what? When did we put our camels to rest, right? So the scholars have differed about this hadith. The Hanbali madhab, Ibn Ishaq, Ibn Rawaha, and many other scholars, they said this is a proof that you can pray Jumu'ah before that it happened. And the other hadith show, because there's about 6-7 other hadith that say very clearly we prayed with the Prophet ﷺ and it was after the Zawal al-Shams, after the zenith, meaning during Dhuhr time, right? And so they're saying that this is li jawaz, li maslaha or li haja. That this example from Muslim, this is for an allowance and acceptance if there's a need, right? The majority said, okay, yes, it sounds like this hadith is saying that you can pray before, but we're saying what it's really emphasizing is to pray in the earliest time of Jumu'ah as possible, and they're saying it's a dhuhr. Why? Because they're saying, because we know that the Jumu'ah is relieving you of the responsibility of dhuhr, right? But if you go to the Hanbali book of fiqh, Kashaf al-Qanna', you will see the strong meaning that we are using here. Abdullah ibn Sayyidan al-Sulami شهدت الجمعة مع أبي بكر فكان خطبته وصلاته قبل نصف النهار ثم شهدتها مع عمر فكانت خطبته وصلاته إلى أن أقول قد انتصف النهار ثم شهدتها مع عثمان فكانت صلاته وخطبته إلى أن أقول قد زال النهار فما رأيت أحدا عاب ذلك ولا أنكره. رواه الدارقطني وأحمد واحتجوا به. وكذلك روي عن ابن مسعود وجابر وسعيد ومعاوية أنهم صلوا قبل الزوال ولم ينكر عليهم فكان ذلك كالإجماع ولأنها صلاة عيد أشبهت العيدين فيما قبل الزوال جوازا ورخصة ولا يلزمك في هذه الحال أن تعيد ظهرا. Right? So this is the fiqh of the scholars, based upon the hadith here that one of the tabi'een said, I prayed Jum'ah with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and his Juma Khutbah and the prayer happened before the Zawal al-Shams, before Dhuhr time comes in, when the sun passes Zenith. Then I prayed it with Umar, and it seemed like he prayed it right at the beginning of Dhuhr. Then I prayed with Uthman, it seemed like he waited till almost Asr time to pray his, and everybody accepted that, and nobody was told you're wrong as a result. So Imam Darqutni, one of the great hadith scholars, said this is an authentic hadith. And Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, who's Imam Ahl Sunnah Jama'ah, and he is the teacher of Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, Ibn Majah, Nasai, all those guys are his students, right? And so he said that this is an authentic hadith that we should use for that, and that's how he built his madhab. Then it says that Ibn Mas'ud, Jabir, Sa'id, and Muawiyah, all of these, they said, we have seen people pray, they have prayed before the Zawal, and it wasn't a big deal. And that was for the purpose of two things: to give a facilitation for circumstantial realities, and because Jumu'ah is called Eid in the hadith, authentic hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says Jumu'ah is like an Eid for you. So it is like the same time as Eid, and the understanding of all of those who allowed you to pray before, and that it still cancels out Dhuhr regardless that it came before. So this is the basis for that. So if you needed to know that, because I didn't want to go through all this, but I had maybe 15, 20 people come to me and say, La astaghfirullah. So I thought maybe you just respect that whatever we were saying, it did come from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, an authentic tradition and established scholarship. So now that you know, you have the proof. If you would like more, you can please come to me after that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us a people who grow in knowledge and understanding. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, make us a people who seek knowledge, learning to grow. Ya Allah, make us a people who don't just assume that whatever we know is enough. Ya Allah, make us a people who love the light of Quran and Sunnah and want to instill that light in ourselves and in our families and in our children. Ya Allah, make this Islamic center be a place where Islam can grow and develop and people can see the beauty and the light of your revelation. Ya Allah, please forgive us if we were arrogant or harsh or rude or unwise or heedless or not serious about spirituality. Ya Allah, make us a people who attain the blessings of Ramadan, who come to Ramadan with a serious spiritual intention to reform ourselves and become better. Ya Allah, please help us to embrace the program that we're having to grow and develop our love and our respect and reverence for the mosque, and that our children can grow and develop in the mosque, and that they can leave Ramadan at other times having grown and learned something about their religion and having connected themselves to the Muslims and grown in their Islamic identity. Ya Allah, unify our hearts, make us a people who come together for your cause and represent your message to the world. Ya Allah, please remove the world of tyranny and corruption and evil, and let us be people who work hard and step outside of the comfort zone in order to stand up for truth and righteousness for the world, so that they can see it and that corruption, tyranny, oppression and violence can be removed, particularly from the Muslim world. Ya Allah, please be with our brothers and sisters in Myanmar and Thailand and Malaysia and the Rohingya Muslims who've been oppressed and abused. Please be with our brothers and sisters in Syria who are living in the worst circumstances ever. Give them peace, give them comfort, give them a way out, and accept their martyrdom if they pass away. Ya Allah, please help our brothers and sisters that are oppressed in Palestine, who are going through oppression and the apartheid regime that occupies them. Ya Allah, please forgive us for our weaknesses. Do not hold them against us. Please make us a people who are worthy of your love and mercy and compassion, and enrich us with your revelation so that we may become worthy by it, and send your peace and blessings and mercy upon the Prophet Muhammad.